I have made video games for over 5 years. Over these 5 years, I've learned a lot about making games, including how to make them look good, how to make them fun to play, and how to make them feel good to play. However, it wasn't always this way, so let's take a look at the first video game I ever made. It's called Zapfred, and it's pretty terrible. This is Zapfred. Enemies randomly spawn all over the map, and they shoot little glowy balls at you that explode when they touch you. However, you can click them, and they'll explode too. If you can call that exploding, that is. Which I don't, because it just looks like they're rotating around randomly. Which they are. So this game already looks pretty terrible, but there's a slight problem with it that makes it kinda unplayable. You're kinda unable to move around. Nice. So incredibly amazing. Clap, clap, clap. Yay! Yeah, the game was terrible. So now that I set the stage for my first few games, let me show you the second game I ever made. Its name is Level Fly, and boy oh boy does time not fly when you're playing it. It's got 7 levels, all of them are terrible, and some of them are just completely broken. The main mechanic in the game is that some platforms are able to be touched to reveal some new ones. This made for some pretty wacky gameplay, but it was still pretty fun. Next game was a game that I decided to call Power Build. The concept was simple yet stupid. It would be a multiplayer game, where first you were shown something that you had to reconstruct from memory. Then, after you were done with that, you would have to race other players to get to the finish line and be declared the winner of the world's worst game. I never finished the game, but here's some gameplay of it. But now, I'm going to move on to the next game. Its name is Cube Capture. It was the best idea I had had yet, and I'll show you it right now. It's a major step up from my previous games, although the graphics look like they're made by a 10-year-old, which they were. The game's plot was weird, wacky, and cool. You were part of a team that were trying to conserve electronic cubes from the wrath of the CubeTubers, a coalition of modeling YouTubers that were continuing to use these endangered cubes as a source of their modeling cubes, instead of the synthetic ones that were better anyway. This concept was executed pretty terribly, and I never actually finished the game, but I hope to be able to finish it someday, and it marked a point where my ability to make games was improving a lot. In about a year since starting Cube Capture, I moved on to my next project. It was called Beta Centauri. This game was a procedurally generated 3D open world game. It was a classic space survival game. The graphics were a major step up from previously. I also reached a new high for complexity of the game, featuring multiple types of world generation, multiple planets, and a whole lot of other cool features. Unfortunately, I never finished this game as well, so how about let's move on to my next game, which I actually did finish. Its name is Direct Ascent. And for the first time, I decided to make this a 2D game. All of my previous games have been made in 3D, which complicates the process a lot. So, with the power of the 2D environment, I was able to release my first complete game. Over the course of about a year, I developed a rocket runner with power-ups, many types of rockets, and multiple levels featuring different types of obstacles, including a pretty cool boss fight at the end too. In my opinion, this game has some really nice graphics, fun animations, and is just really good overall. After finishing Direct Ascent, I took a break for a few months, and then started making video games for this YouTube channel right here. So far for this channel, I've made 8 video games, 12 videos, and even have remade some of the first video games that I ever made. Let's talk about a few that I like the most. Game 1, Walmart Mario Bros. This was the first video game I made for this channel, and it has quite a lot of content in it, featuring 8 replicas of levels from Super Mario Bros, 1 too many glitches, and being made in only 24 hours, I consider this a pretty good game. Just a quick interruption to remind you that we're almost at 1 million subscribers, and if you subscribe right now, you might be able to help me out. The next game I want to show you is my EA-inspired World's Worst Pay-to-Win game. Apart from being one of my favorite videos, this game is one of my favorite games. I think the concept, gameplay, and just everything about it is really fun, and I think you'd enjoy it too. Finally, my last game isn't really a game. It's called DogeTube, and it's basically a terrible remake of YouTube, and it's just one of my most absurd ideas. It's also my favorite video. So there you have it. That was 5 years of my game development experience condensed into about 5 minutes of video. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing. I've got a really good video lined up for release in a few weeks. And if you don't want to miss it, doing those things will help that happen. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!